Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you for showing up. I'm grateful that we have this method to be able to continue practicing together, to be able to share this time and this community together. I want you to remember to practice in the way that you normally do. So if I'm offering something and you're not familiar with it, do something you are more familiar with. Your body is your temple. And if I say do this and you go, please don't. Always check with your medical professional before you start a movement program of any sort, and do with this practice what you need to do. Modify in all the ways that you need to modify. If this is too stepped up for you, there's a stop button. If this isn't stepped up enough, then step it up. Do what you need to do. In today's practice, we're going to bring in a sense of acceptance of the truth. And there's a lot of truth going on. There's a lot of confusion going on at the same time. Sometimes it's hard to weed through what is being presented. So our sense of discernment gets confused. So today, as we work through this sense of truth, one of the mudras that I was taught that I always liked was the conch or the shank. And you take one hand, wrap it around the thumb, and close the other hand around so that it then looks like a conch as you'd pick it up and listen to it on the beach. So if this is an appropriate movement program for you and it has been approved by your medical professional, then create your conch. Doesn't matter which side you do it from, whichever way is going to be comfortable for you. Wrap it up, bring it into your heart space. Take a breath in. And start to find what feels more like center. Start to find what feels confusing. And this conch is going to represent the throat space today, because that's where our truth comes from. Our ears are where we perceive truth as it's spoken to us. And when the facts and the figures don't seem to add up, and there's reporting on this fashion, and there's this TV station versus that TV station, yes, it gets confusing. And we have the ability to quiet, to go inside, to listen to our own truth, so that we know that when we speak from this point on, that it is something that we can identify with as the truth. So just like when you pick up a conch on the beach and you listen to the whisper that comes out of it, let this practice whisper to your body. Let it whisper to your nervous system. Let it whisper in all the ways, so that in the end, you're back to center. You're back to what you know to be the truth. The next breath goes from the tip of the tailbone up to the crown of the head. As we sigh it out, we lift our conch up over the crown of the head. We breathe it in, we breathe that conch back into center as that breath goes from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then we exhale, pressing up and up and up. Breathing in, bring it in. Exhale, third time, press it up. Release the right hand, press the right hand into the floor. Reach the left arm over the head. Feel any space that's tight and know that those tight spaces are either because we're out of routine or because we've been holding. We've been bringing that stress into the body and holding it there. That right hand sneaks up. I reach up with my conch. I breathe in. I exhale it back down in front. Inhale, lift up. Left hand to the floor, right arm reaches over. Loosen up the tissues in the right side of that body in the best ways that you know how. If it takes micro movements, use those micro movements. Breathing in. Exhaling out. Inhale back up through center. Find that conch. Breathe in at the top. Exhale down to throat space. And then let the hands reach slightly back and behind. And this is a family favorite. We let those knees flip-flop from side to side so that we can check in with the hips. Because there's truth in the hips. There's a lot of truth in the hips. And when our low back starts to hurt, we then try to transfer weight into the hips by shifting or holding interest in interesting ways. And then the hips start to pay the price. So check it in. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Let the knees come up. Stretch the feet out in front. Take that right ankle up on top of the thigh. Reach up over the body, bending forward toward the toes. If you can't reach the toes, don't judge it. If you need a strap, grab a strap. Inhale. Exhale, the conch lifts up overhead, even if it's just steepled fingers. If the shoulders won't go there, then the shoulders can go into cactus. Inhale. Exhale. Reach down, lift that leg of it up and rock the baby just a little. Beautiful. Either take that right foot and drop it across so that you can wrap up and sweep that right arm behind, or drop it back in center so that you can pull the sternum into that knee. Give yourself a bit of a twist, wringing out anything along the spine that needs to go. Inhale. Exhale. Unwind, switch feet. Left ankle comes up. If the left ankle doesn't meet there and it needs to come inside, let it do that. If it needs to come down below the kneecap, let it do that as well. Reach up overhead, dive in toward the toes. Give yourself a couple of nice deep breaths, stretching along the spine, letting that low back have some time to itself. Inhale. Exhale, we exit. Conch goes up overhead, holding there in staff posture. Breathing in. Breathing out. Reach down for the foot and the knee and rock the baby. And listen to the truth in all of these postures as we move through them. What are my hips saying? What is my back saying? All of these spaces in the body correlate to energy systems in the body. What are those spaces trying to tell you? Inhale. Exhale. Feel the body as it settles around itself. And then either take that foot across, in front, wrap it the best way that works for you. Right arm around the leg, left hand plants, and twist into that spinal space. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then unwind. Step both knees in, wrap both arms around, reach for the elbows if you can. Drop your eyebrows down on top of your knees. Breathing in. And breathing out. If you feel so inclined, point the toes and then rock yourself up to a supported egg. If you want to leave your eyebrows on top of your knees, you could. Inhale. Exhale, slightly release the arms, cross the ankles, roll forward, hands and knees, curl the toes, walk the feet up by the wrists, bend the knees a lot, putting the belly down on the thighs, interlace the arms, and then shake yourself side to side. Letting the sides of the body have time to release, allowing the shoulders to slowly crawl out of the torso. And then as the shaking wants to cease, hold center, let the head be heavy. And check in the heart space. What's the truth today? Maybe I heard something that I questioned or I doubted. Breathing in, breathing out, bend the knees, grab your conch. We're going to sweep that conch right up overhead, press down into the feet. Let your knuckles and your fingertips rise. The belly button pulls in. Make sure that the weight has landed evenly in both feet. Big breath in. Big breath out, bend the knees, sweep right back down toward the floor. Tailbone rises, the head reaches toward the floor as best you can. Inhale. Exhale. Grab your conch, sweep it up. And here we go. We're going to take that left foot. We're going to step it behind the right foot. We're going to move into a dancing goddess posture. Then we're going to step wide. Hands come down to the thighs. Left hand plants, right leg straightens, right arm reaches up. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Right arm comes down. Roll the body up. Gather up that conch. Right foot steps behind left. Stretching through the abdominal region. Inhale. Exhale, step wide back down into that wide leg Utkatasana. Left leg straightens, left arm reaches up. Inhale. Exhale back down to the thighs. Let the hips rise. Let the head tick-tock forward. Arms drip, head drips. Check in with the movements. Inhale. Exhale, knees bend, grab up your conch, sweep up, left foot steps behind right, stretch through the abdomen, step wide, hands come down to the thighs, right toes reach out, what I call the cosmic gesture. You can grab the big toe, you can grab the side of the foot, or you can just reach. Conch is going to sweep toward the side of the mat. We're going to rainbow up and then tick-tock forward into a warrior three, and I'm falling out already. Oh, this mic pack is driving me crazy. Breathe in, breathe out, step that foot in, reach the conch up, and then bow back down toward the mat. Nice wide legs. Breathing in, breathing out, knees bend, right foot steps behind left, stretch. Find more space to breathe. And then step wide, hands sweep down, we reach for that left toe. Inhale, exhale, the conch comes up, we make a curve from the fingertips back to that right heel. And then we tick-tock forward. Find the balance in that left foot first. Reach that truth right out of the crown of the head. Step that foot back. Reach up, bow down one more time. Inhale. Exhale. This time pull the heels in, grab your conch, sweep it up. And then bring that conch down in front of the throat space, garland posture. Breathing in, breathing out. Hands touch the floor. Step or jump back into a plank. Holding here for just a moment. Now, hands press into the mat. The elbows do not lock and press toward the front of the mat. That's bone on bone or cartilage on cartilage. We want to strengthen the joint, pointing the antecubital spaces at each other. Press the knees down, reach back, child pose. Inhaling, exhaling, roll back forward through your plank, heels reach back, breathe it in, breathe it out, jump or step up into your garland posture one more time. Drop the hips, grab your conch, whisper some truth into it, and then press the conch back up toward the ceiling, and then reach out and down, hands to belly, and just receive. One more breath. Sweep those hands out and up. Find your conch. Drop down into your garland position. Jump or step back into plank. Beautiful. Press back, downward facing dog. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Right foot rises and then steps through warrior one. Oh, all the things. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Sweep those hands back down. Plank posture. Roll into the right hand and the right side of the foot. Side plank. Breathing in. Breathing out. Plank posture. Knees down. Child pose. Holding. Breathing. Up between the thumbs, roll back out into your plank, press those heels behind, antecubital spaces facing each other, looking on either side of the pinkies, jump or step, garland posture, conch at the throat, and then press up. Like a rocket, we reach up, arms sweep out and down, hands to belly, heart rises. One more big breath. Exhale the hands down. Sweep. Find that conch. Drop down into your garland. Hands plant, jump or step back into plank. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Press back, downward facing dog. Really firm up those fingertips and the heels of the hands into the ground. Left leg rises and then steps through to the front of the mat. Sweep up, warrior one. Gorgeous. Sweep back down, plank posture. We roll to the left side, right hand reaches up. We hold firm, lifting left ribs away from the mat. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Plank posture, knees. Child, if that works for you. If not, climb it out into puppy. And just hold. So, child pose isn't meant for every body. Knees can be really painful the older we get. The wrists, if I've been on the wrists, child can feel really good because then I can rest my wrists. But if my knees are screaming louder than my wrists, then I need to modify and stretch through the armpits instead, dropping forehead and heart toward the mat. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Look up between the thumbs. Roll back out into plank posture. Here we go. We're going to jump up into our garland. Landing lightly, finding our conch, pressing down through the feet, up through the fingertips. And then out and down, gathered into the belly space. Wore the wrong pants today. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Sweep out and up. Find that left foot step behind the right. Find that conch and that dancing goddess. Breathe in. Breathe out, step wide, forward, fold, jump or step back into your plank posture. If you want to lower down through a chaturanga here, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, press back into a downward facing dog. Let your right heel rise. Step it through warrior one. Sweep the hands up. I like to keep my rear heel lifted. Keeps my hips square toward the front of the mat. And then as I roll into warrior two, I roll my back heel down, drop the arms, check and make sure that they're parallel to the floor. And then we're going to extend up and back. We're going to find our conch overhead. We're going to straighten that front leg, reach back with our conch, finding the truth. And then back down to the front of the mat we go. Bend that front knee. Cartwheel down, roll the back heel up. That left hand plants, the right hand reaches up. Breathing in. Breathing out, right hand rolls down, left foot, right foot steps back, plank posture. Move through a chaturanga if that works for your body. Otherwise, hips lift up and back. Left leg rises. Find the stretch in the groin, find the press in the hands, and then let that knee slide through. Plant the foot, lift, warrior one, breathing in, breathing out. The back heel rolls down. We let those arms settle. Belly button draws in. We're not leaning too far over the thigh. We're not leaning too far back. We settle in. Then let the conch rise. Straighten that front leg, reach back toward the back of the mat. Big breath in. And then bend the front knee, sweep down, roll the back heel up. Left hand reaches for the sky. Beautiful, nicely done. Left hand sweeps down, left foot steps back, plank posture. Breathing in. Breathing out, press up and back, downward facing dog. We're going to take those knees, drop them down about an inch or two from the mat, stretching through the upper end of the body, stretching the toes. I know that sounds really weird, but feet lose flexibility over the course of our life, so we need to stretch through those toe beds, breathing in. Breathing out, stretch back out into your plank, looking on either side of the pinkies, jump or step. Last garland posture. Let it float, land, find that conch, press it up. Belly draws in, squeeze with the base of the glutes, and then sweep it right back down. Hips go high, toes turn forward. Forward fold, 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Jump or step back into your plank. Let it float. Breathing in. Breathing out, either move through a chaturanga or let the hips go high into downward facing dog. When you're ready, right leg floats up. Step through warrior one. Roll down, warrior two. Find your conch, sweep it up, straighten that front leg, stretching either through the side body or the front. And then release into a triangle posture, facing the side of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, let your conch reach out of both sides of the body. Inhale. Exhale, sweep down and through. Forward fold, wide legs, side of the mat. As you breathe, listen to the body. The mind has been fed lots of information. What is true? What is really speaking to you? And what is something that has landed inside that you would be proud to repeat? Inhale. Exhale. Sneak back toward that front leg. Cartwheel up, warrior two. Hold there. Breathing in. Breathing out. Sweep it down. Right foot steps back. Plank posture, move through a chaturanga or hips up and back. Nice, nice long through the armpits, reaching back through the heels, tailbone tipping toward the sky, and then the left heel rises. Step it up and through. Let it land. Warrior one. Sweeps into warrior two. We straighten the leg, find our conch, reach it back. And then tipping into our triangle posture, right arm up, left arm down. If you need to find it within the hip and hold here. If your stance is really short, beautiful. Do what your body needs you to do. And then let your conch come forward, clasp, and then sweep through. Nice wide leg forward fold. Belly draws in to create more space. Inhale. Exhale. And then here we go. The toes turn forward, the arms cartwheel up. Find your warrior two. Settle in. One more breath. And then back down into the mat we go. Roll that heel up, step that left foot back. Knees go wide. Press the hips back toward the heels. If that's too much, crawl the arms forward. And then the heart space comes down. Now, if it would feel good to make that conch shape and let the body settle in there, do that. Or to set back into child pose and bring the conch then behind the head. Breathe into these spaces. Notice if as the extraneous things start to fall away. If other things seem to rise to the surface. Inhale. Exhale. Plant the hands, lift the hips, heels press back, find your plank posture. Breathing it in, breathing it out. Press hips up and back if that would be appropriate. Right leg rises, then the knee pulls through to the nose, drops in between the thumbs, and then that left leg slides back. Now for those of us that's not comfortable, we would then roll onto the right hip and then make mermaid legs, because mermaid legs are almost always appropriate. So pigeon, ooh, I came unclipped. We've got pigeon or mermaid. Once you find the posture that works for you, press up and away from the floor by lifting through the pelvic floor. Find your conch. Let your breath be your truth. It is our most basic need. And then when you're ready, roll down. Find a comfort in the pigeon posture, allowing the hips to release. Rolling maybe a little more with that left hip so that that left hip flexor can get a little more of a stretch. If you're in mermaid posture, you can move out over the shin or the belly into the thigh. Letting the breath slide in and slide out. Letting the breath be the key. One more time. And Now, if there is a more complicated version of pigeon that you have been working toward, maybe rise up now and kick the back toes up, reaching back with the left hand, reaching forward with the right, breathing in, out, and then let the hands and feet settle. Pressing up and away, push back, right heel rises, nice deep down dog. And then the right foot slides down. Pedal the heels a bit. Feel into those legs because sometimes the circulation can be cut off. Breathing in. And out, down dog, left leg rises. Pull that knee through to the nose. Place that knee in between the hands. That right leg either moves back so the groin comes closer. We don't necessarily turn this ankle out anymore and shove it toward the front of the mat. What they found is that that turns the femur head within the knee joint, and it's not appropriate for all joints anymore. So we keep the heel a little closer to the hip. We settle in, or we roll to the left hip and we find mermaid. We find our conch. We lift through the pelvis. We have a little press through the right leg as that right hip tries to slide forward. And then when you're ready, the hands slide down, the groin descends, and we find a comfort space. If I'm on my hip, then I look for a space that works for my hip. Breathing in, breathing out. Now this time we're simply going to roll onto that left hip. We're going to keep rolling onto our back spaces and tuck our knees into our chest. Beautiful. Feeling the compression there, the weight of the body. Because there is truth in gravity. It works 100% of the time. Extend your heels up toward the ceiling. Reach for the backs of the thighs. Walk the hands up to the ankles or just touch the big toes. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Lower head and shoulders. Going back to where we were in the beginning, take that right ankle across that thigh. Reach up for the foot or through to the back of the thigh. Inhaling. Exhaling. And notice as the body starts to get wrung out that the nervous system tends to come along for the ride. And the truth becomes more evident. Releasing that leg, press both heels up. One more time, crawl up those legs, reach for the toes. We're rising and lifting with our abdominal wall. Creating strength, firming up around those lower three chakras so that when news comes in or I feel like I'm threatened, I know that my body will hold me. There's truth in that. Roll down. That left ankle crosses. I reach through to the right hamstring, or I climb up the leg and I try to find that foot. Breathing in and breathing out. Release that leg or foot. Pull the soles of the feet together. Clasp the outside edges of the feet at the toes. Clasp the ankles. Clasp behind the thighs into a happy baby. Whatever is going to work for your body. And then pull toward the center of the body. And we're going to breathe through our chakras right up to our throat. We're going to breathe into our root chakra. Send that energy up to the throat. Breathe into your sacrum. The energy goes to the throat. Breathe into the solar plexus. The energy moves to the throat. Breathe into the heart. Moves to the throat. Breathe in through the third eye. Out through the throat. Last one, breathe in through the crown. Out through the throat. Releasing the feet, knees come together, arms go out into T position. We're going to drop our legs to the left. You can stack the legs. You can bind the legs in any way that you see fit. As long as what you're doing reflects the love that you want to feel in your body. If you're grimacing or you're gritting your teeth, we need to examine that. Look into why we would do that. One of my instructors would say, you're choosing to suffer. Breathe the knees in. That's a terrible truth bomb, isn't it? And then drop the heels down right behind, hands slide in, hips rise for a small bridge posture. Breathing in and breathing out. Next time you exhale, those hips lower to the mat, arms reach out, knees pull up and in, and then we roll to the opposite side. Spinal twists are awesome for the nervous system. It affects all the nerve stems that come out. It's just allergies. But it affects all the little nerve bundles that come out of the spinal cord. Breathing in. Breathing out. Knees pull up. Center the feet. Land the hands on either side of the hips. We roll up. The knees try to keep an equal distance along with the ankles. If you need to step the feet wide because of knee or hip issues, please do. Let the back of the neck be nice and long, creating that lovely yogic double chin down there. Pressing the bottom of the jaw into the top of the sternum. Breathing in. Breathing out. Hips lower. We're going to roll onto our bellies here. Chest slides into the floor. Battery pack goes back up in my shirt. And then let the elbows come up underneath the shoulders. Take the toes and put the toes together back there. Press the pubic bone into the mat so that it's like almost like the pressing there causes an unfurling of the spine. And see, I like to lift my hands in this, but then I lose some of the stability of my base. So we're going to move into the back side of the arm here because there's truth in the triceps. I mean, we all know that. So press the hands down, lift the elbows maybe an inch. The upper arms are going to want to flare out. Keep them in. Keep them in. Let that belly breathe into the mat. The tops of the feet pressing down into the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Roll the chest down. Find your conch. Slide it forward. Take your forehead and press it into the mat, but gently. And then from here, we're going to lift our conch. We're going to lift our heels toward the ceiling. Breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Hands underneath shoulders. Lifting as much as you are willing. The tops of the feet come back down to the floor. We lift and affect the back side of the arm again. I like to keep my wings in at my sides. Breathing in. Breathing out. If you can do a full upward facing dog, awesome. And roll back down. Stack your hands. Turn your head to one side and shift your hips. And just notice what the shifting of the hips does to the nervous system. It certainly affects the fascia. And then pause, feel the front side of the body. On the next breath in, plant the hands on the mat. Lift the hips toward the heels. Dropping back in toward a hero posture. Lifting heart space, shoulder blades slide back and in. Conch comes together. Lift and rise. Reaching, fingertips reach toward the wall behind you. Breathing in. Breathing out. Any of you that are practicing headstand or forearm stand, you would simply move from here down onto your forearms and flip up side down, or hands come down to mat. You could do a crow posture, you could do a headstand there. Otherwise, we're going to let the hips land. You guys that are upside down, do your thing and love it. We're going to reach again while you guys are coming in and out of your postures. Lift up, rise, fingertips toward the wall behind, pelvis reaches slightly forward. If you love a full camel, move into a full camel. If you're practicing your handstands or your forearm stands, now is the time to come back out of those. And descend toward the hips. Conch in at the throat this time. And as the breath starts to slow after all the effort, notice if there's a whisper, as if listening to a shell on the beach. Maybe you could think about the last time you actually did that. And possibly the way you felt, full of wonder and full of mystery. Trying to figure out how it is that a shell could whisper so. If you were young when it happened, it may have seemed like magic. Because magic was still real and it was still true. Breathing in and breathing out. So I challenge you here. Find the magic and the mystery in your world right now. As we look around for maybe a pillow or a cushion, possibly a blanket. Make sure it's supportive enough so that we can roll this blanket or pillow up. We're going to pick this up. We're going to put it behind us. We're going to then hit our hips and place it just behind the sacrum, and then roll the body out over the top. If the head hangs off the side and that's uncomfortable for you, grab another pillow or another blanket and stuff it up under there. If the head leaning back would actually feel good, then find a leg configuration that would work for your body. Maybe sole to sole, maybe legs out long, maybe the feet have to step to the floor. But once you find support for the head if you need it, or support for the legs if you like that, find your conch one more time. Bring it in right over your throat. And just take the time to breathe into your spinal space, opening up all the channels for those nerves as they're leaving out through the spinal cord. And notice if you've been heavily stressed lately, if there are places where energy doesn't seem to want to flow. Doing a minor back bend this way may be extremely uncomfortable for you right now, so you may need to pull that out and rock the knees in toward the chest. Instead, hug yourself and roll on the spinal space instead. Wherever you end up, eventually find a stillness and listen for the whisper. Where is the truth? Have the conversations that I've been participating in lately, have they felt honest? Or do they make me nervous? We don't hide from the truth. We don't pretend that it's not there. And sometimes we need to use our discernment to know when it's time to speak and when it's time to listen. We can use our words to wind others up so that then everyone feels as anxious as I do. Or I can use my words to soothe others, as I would like to be soothed now. Find 3 more breaths. And then choosing whether you want to move into Shavasana, maybe with something under the backs of the legs, or whether you want to roll on your side and then move up to a seated position for meditation. Wherever your body decides to move, listen. Sometimes we do what we think we should do instead of really listening and feeling, discerning. And then just let your body be. Begin to deepen the breath. You're in your place, in your space. If you want to stay right where you are, please do. I'm going to end practice as we always do with 3 deep breaths and 3 sounds. Belly, ribs, and collarbones. Make a sound that makes you happy. Breathe into your belly. Breathe into the ribs. Breathe into your collarbones. If your body needs more rest, allow it to rest. May you know and feel the truth and speak it boldly. Namaste.